This new safety policy makes no sense. I hate to complain, but why do we gotta do so many safety checks? All it's doing is causing delays in our schedule.
Look, you know I don't make policy decisions. It's just my job to make sure that they get followed. The bottom line is all drivers are going to have to do more thorough inspections on their trucks. Supposedly, our sister companies are already adopting this policy and have shown 30% fewer incident rates. That equals cost savings.
I get that, but then you're losing those savings and the time lost. And most of our drivers will have to get retrained just to figure out how to do these newer checks. The old process worked just fine.
Look, like I said, Terry, I don't make the rules. Yeah, the new checks may be a little more time consuming, but supposedly management has the data to show that they're worth it. Look, I'm just trying to do my job, okay? Can you please help me out and start using the new forms?
All right, fine. Look, Sandy, this new safety policy makes no sense. I hate to complain, but why do we got to do so many safety checks every time we leave and then again when we return with the truck? All it's doing is setting us back.
I understand, Terry, I do. But let me explain the reasoning behind the new policy to you, because when they first told me about it, I had the same reaction you're having. Now, our 3 sister companies are all benchmarking safety. So they have all started using this policy, and their average incident rates are 30% less than ours. You know as well as I do how many mechanical failures we've had because our drivers aren't inspecting trucks before their long hauls. Just last week, Kevin lost his brakes because of a frayed line that should have been caught during the inspection, right? Thankfully, he was able to stop the truck, but do you see why it's so important that we enforce this new policy?
I get that, but these inspections are so involved that a lot of our drivers are going to need new training just to figure out how to do them. I just think if everyone follows the current checklist, we'll be fine.
I do agree with you. The new forms are a bit lengthy, but that's not the correct way to look at it. The way we're looking at it is, will this new process significantly reduce safety incidents? Because that's the bigger issue here. And based on the results our sister companies are seeing, the answer is yes. That's why we're asking everyone to follow these new forms. Now, when we improve incident rates, we improve the quality of business. It all trickles down, you know that. Besides, I wouldn't be doing my job if I'm sending workers out into the field to operate trucks that haven't been properly inspected.
Right. All right. I guess that's fair. But if there's any way we can shorten these up a bit, we'd really appreciate it. And it might help if you shared some of these results with the team.
Actually, that's a great idea. Let me talk to my manager about that and we'll figure out the best way to do that. Maybe we can even bring in some of our safety managers from our sister companies to talk about results firsthand.
Yeah, I think that could work, especially if we have to add new training anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to write this down and I promise you I'll get back to both of those things today. I'll let you know what I come up with.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you for the great ideas. Hey everyone, can I have your attention for a minute, please? I have some bad news to share. As some of you may know, Rich was taken to the hospital earlier today for severe burns to his back. He was working on scaffolding near a boiler and his harness strap got caught on a steam valve, accidentally opening it. Luckily for him, there was somebody there with him, but this doesn't change the fact that this is still a pretty serious incident. Now, as your supervisor, it's my responsibility to make sure you all remain safe. Today is a perfect example of what happens when you take that for granted. You need to make sure that nothing like this ever happens again, okay?
Do you know exactly what happened? I've been here for 15 years. Those valves aren't designed to open that easily.
Well, I haven't talked to anybody about an investigation yet, but I'm sure that there is one coming soon. Until then, just be proactive in following the current safety guidelines and expect some changes once the investigation is closed.
Why more guidelines? You know, I thought this was a freak accident. How's paperwork and training going to keep this from happening again? I mean, it had to be a 1 in a million chance.
Look, I can't really comment on the matter until we have more details. Just expect some changes to be made. And if any of you have suggestions, maybe you can suggest them as well. I mean, management may be more open to them now. Anyway, with this accident, I'm not going to have time to run ideas past them anyway. But at least I'll be making rounds on the floor for the next couple weeks to make sure that you are following the current guidelines. That means wearing the appropriate PPE and following those general safety precautions. I don't want to have to write anyone up, so please be sure that you're following these current guidelines. Hey everyone, thank you for joining me on such short notice. As some of you may know, one of our team members, Rich, was taken to the emergency room earlier today for severe burns to his back. From what we understand, he was working on scaffolding near the boiler when one of his harness straps got caught on a steam release valve. Fortunately for Rich, there was somebody there with him who was able to shut off the valve. Now, I did just speak with Ray, who's at the hospital. He says that Rich is going to recover and should be released in a couple days. Now, as your supervisor, it is my responsibility to work with each of you to identify and reduce your exposure to help prevent these injuries from happening. I want to work with each of you to make sure that we will prevent these injuries from happening in the future.
Did they start the incident investigation yet?
Yes, as soon as Rich was under medical care, I met with our safety manager, Natalie, to start that process. Once it's complete, we will meet with all of you again to share our findings and the immediate actions that we will take.
Okay, is there anything we can start doing now to keep this from happening again? I mean, I didn't think those valves were designed to open that easily. I've been here for 15 years and I've never seen anything like that before.
Well, we are looking into exactly what went wrong, and as soon as we come to that conclusion, we will start focusing on the measures to prevent that from happening again. And that includes me too. And also, if any of you have any suggestions, please give them to myself or Raymond.
Hey, don't forget to tell the second shift too.
All employees will be reminded of the rules. We all need to look out for each other. If you see someone in an at-risk situation, please say something. Likewise, if you have a better way to handle a task, please bring it to our attention. I personally will be increasing my safety initiative when I speak with each of you daily, and I'm going through some core trainings to make sure that I'm up to speed on the risks and procedures that you work with, especially maintenance and repairs.
I think that's a good idea, especially after seeing what happened with Rich. Speaking of, I think it'd be great if we all did something for him. Get him a card or visit him after work.